session to really celebrate all that's happened at Millside over the past 4 years. Um, we've been on a bit of a roller coaster to get to 4 years, but it's been such a privilege to connect with so many of you, all of you who are represented here, one way or another, to work alongside you or to partner with you, and to learn from you. So we thought it'd be really good to bring all of you together in one room, and just to share stories. You'll be hearing a little bit about our story if you don't know much about Millside, but we will be starting with a quiz. So this will definitely test your knowledge of how well you know Millside. And then what we're going to do is we'll go into just a quick story of a background of how Millside came to be, and then we'll move into some of our partners will be sharing a bit about their projects. These are projects that are happening here currently. And then we'll also be sharing some stories after that, as well as going into some breakout rooms and talking about hope. What does hope look like for all of us during this time? So thank you all for joining us. I am going to, I forgot to say, we are also recording this session, if that's okay with all of you, just for us to keep a record for ourselves, but also there are people who can't join us today, so we'd love to be able to send them a link of this so they can watch back. So yeah, I think that's it. So I'm going to pass you over to Colin, who's going to start with our quiz. So I hope you've got your pen and papers ready.
Yeah, thank you, Faraha. Yeah, I get to be quizmaster today, which is very exciting. So what do you know about Millside Centre? This is the question. We've got 10 questions for you. That's all, just 10. Multiple choice, so it's nice and easy. So just write down your ABC as to what you think is the answer. Gaynor and Stu, I'll let you collaborate, seeing as you're both on the same screen. How about that? Yeah. But we'll see who does the best. We do have a possible prize. We'll see. We'll see. It depends how many people win. If everyone gets 10, then I haven't got enough prizes, but we'll see where we get to. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Let's hope this works. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, right, here we go then with the first question. No messing about.
Do we shout out the answer or do we write it down?
No, don't shout your answer out, just write it down. Okay, just write it down for now. So this colourful painting in our Millside reception was created by an artist from Bradford. What was his name? Was it A, David Hockney, B, Christopher Parker, C, Simon Carlyle? Okay. So note down A, B, C. Was it David Hockney, Christopher Parker, Simon Carlyle? Right, there's the first question. Moving on. How many people attended the launch event of the Millside Centre in February 2017? Was it A, 100, B, 250, C, 400? I apologise for my tie there, by the way. I'm really sorry about that. So was it A, 100, B, 250, C, 400? That's the second question. Moving on. So for more than 3 years, Millside hosted an amazing group who are helping men with their mental health. What is their name? Is it A, Malcolm's Men, B, Men in Action, C, Andy's Man Club? Okay, A, Malcolm's Men, B, Men in Action, C, Andy's Man Club. Write your answer down and we will move on to number 4. So our Welcome Cafe is run in partnership with Bradford Council and which local educational establishment? Is it A, Bradford College, B, Bradford University, C, Shipley College? Okay, A, Bradford College, B, Bradford University, C, Shipley College, a partner for our Welcome Cafe. Okay, moving on to number 4.
5.
5, thank you. Until lockdown, Wednesday afternoons were a musical treat as our community choir tried to hit all the right notes. What was
supposed to be? also on a Zoom. But anyway, long story. No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Oh, what's going on there?
I'm just gonna check.
I think someone's, they've muted. Whoever it was, they've muted. We'll go back to number 5. Until lockdown, Wednesday afternoons were a musical treat as our community choir tried to hit all the right notes. What was the name of that choir? Was it A, Millside Sings for Joy, B, Millside Voices, C, the Millside Community Singers? What was the name of our choir? Millside Sings for Joy, Millside Voices, the Millside Community Singers. All right, moving on to number 6. Now, the Millside Centre is attached to a historic old pub from the 1800s. What was the local nickname for this pub? Was it A, the Mucky Duck, B, the Smelly Welly, C, the Rotten Egg? Local nickname for this pub: the Mucky Duck, the Smelly Welly, the Rotten Egg. Right. Moving on to number 7. So the Millside Centre is situated in a place called Goitside. Goitside. What was the Goit? That's the question. Was it A, an old mill, B, a church building from the 1600s, C, a mill stream? So what was the Goit? An old mill, a church building from the 1600s, a mill stream. Put your answer down. Moving on to number 8. Okay, so one of the longest running groups at Millside has been the Ladies Knitting Group. This group composed their own song. What was it called? Was it A, Knit One, Purl One, B, We Are Ladies Who Knit, C, Knitting Together? So what was the name of our knitting group song? Knit One, Purl One, We Are Ladies Who Knit, or Knitting Together? Okay, that's number 8. 2 more to go. Number 9. One key partner for the Millside Centre who work with the homeless have their offices on the 2nd floor of Millside House. What is the name of this charity? Is it A, Hope Housing, B, Abigail Housing, C, Simon on the Streets? So the name of the charity that's on the top floor of our building, is it Hope Housing, Abigail Housing, Simon on the Streets? And the final question. In 2019, the Millside Centre sent a team to take part in the Bradford Dragon boat race. What position did the magnificent Millside Mallards come out of 40 teams? First, A, B, 23rd, C, 39th. So what position did the Mallards come out of 40 teams? Was it first, 23rd, or 39th? Right, so the moment of truth. Are you ready? Here we go. So, colourful painting was created by an artist from Bradford. What was his name? Any ideas? Anyone want to hazard a guess?
Christopher Parker.
David Hockney.
Oh, I really wish it was David Hockney, because we'd be quids in, wouldn't we? I tell you. But unfortunately, it wasn't. It was Christopher Parker. B.
You see the signature at the bottom of the painting?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well done, Wahid. Amazing. And just to let you know that we're currently working with the Peace Studies Department at Bradford University, looking at the possibility of launching a Christopher Parker Art Prize for Peace, which will be fantastic, where people will create artworks with a peace theme. And hopefully we're going to try and sort that out by May this year. So look out for the art prize. So that's B. 1 was B. Number 2, how many people attended our launch event? Any ideas?
250.
250? Any other thoughts?
400.
It was 400. Yeah.
Whoa.
That was a very, I don't know if you've been to our building, but if you can imagine 400 people, it was a bit crowded. I can't imagine it in COVID times, but yeah, we had an amazing curry. We had the mayor, we had Susan Hinchcliffe was there, we had music, dancing, arts and crafts. It was a great day. Yeah, very memorable. So that's number 2, which was C. Number 3, what was the amazing mental health group for men that we hosted? Any thoughts?
Andy's Man Club.
Club, man.
Andy's Man Club, correct. Yes, if you said C, spot on. 3 was C, Andy's Man Club. And they've sadly moved on to bigger premises now because they needed more space, which is a good thing, really. Because they're so popular. So they're now just off Sunbridge Road. We're wishing them well. Number 4, our Welcome Cafe, run in partnership with who?
Bradford College.
Bradford College is correct. Yes, number 4 was A. Nabila should have got that because there she is in the photograph, right at the front. Number 5. So our choir, what was the name of our choir?
That's Millside Voices.
Millside Voices, correct. Number 5 was B, Millside Voices. And we've got Tom on the call today as well. That's Tom with the hat on the left. He's also here on the call. And we've now got permission from the Arts Council to use the funding that we had for Millside Voices to run. Tom's now running some sing-along sessions for a local care home, which you may hear about a bit later on anyway. But we're really pleased we've been able to carry on singing in some way. Number 6. So what was the local nickname for this pub?
Mucky Duck.
Mucky Duck.
Mucky Duck. Yes, everyone's got that one. That sounds good. Yeah. Number A is the Mucky Duck, otherwise known as the Black Swan. So the Black Swan has been there for a long time. Sadly, it's now a derelict shop, but who knows what's going to happen next. If you look just on the left of the photograph, up the side of Grattan Road there, you can see an old shop. That is effectively room 3 of the Millside Centre. So you can just see how far back our building goes. So that's number 6. Number 7, the Millside Centre is situated in a place called Goitside. What was the Goit?
A mill stream.
Mill Stream. Any other ideas?
An old mill. I got an old mill.
An old mill. It was in fact a mill stream. Yeah. So it's a stream that runs down the side of our building. It's all underground now, and it went all the way down Water Street and all the way right into town. It's basically a sewer now, but there's not much of it left. So that was the Goit, number 7. Number 8, what was the name of our knitting group's song? Any ideas?
We are ladies who knit.
Someone said knit one pearl, someone said we are ladies who knit. The answer is B, we are ladies who knit. And we do have a recording of that if anyone's desperate to hear it. It's a great song. The knitting group has been going really well, but obviously over COVID, we've not been able to meet, but we're thankful we've been able to send out, we got some funding to send out some parcels of wool and bits and pieces to help the ladies. Number 9, a key partner for us have their offices on the top of the Millside house. What is the name of this charity? Hope Housing, indeed. Yeah. So A, Hope Housing, and we'll hear from Helen a bit in a few minutes anyway, who runs Hope Housing. It's a privilege to have them in our building and also using the Millside Centre too. And then finally, in 2019, what position did we come in 40 teams? Any thoughts?
First.
Or if only, if only.
Good.
B.
B, I got B.
B, correct, yes. Which I thought was a pretty good go, seeing as we'd never done it before. So yeah, we raised £2,500 on that day, which was fantastic for Millside services. Sadly, it was cancelled last year and it's cancelled again this year, but we're hoping if it runs again next year, we'll be getting a team together, see if we can beat 23rd. So well done. Who got more than 5?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Got more than 5. Okay. What about more than 6? Anyone get more than 6? Yeah.
Yeah.
More than 7?
Yeah.
You got more than 7? More than 8?
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 8.
More than 9? Okay. Anyone get full 10? Full marks? Who got full marks? Nobody got full marks.
I did actually get 10.
Well done, Tom.
I don't know how.
Well done, Tom. Yay!
Thanks.
Right, Tom, you get this absolutely gorgeous Millside bag.
Wow. Great. Thank you.
Which we will send to you when
Brilliant.
we see you next.
Love it. Thanks.
Okay.
Do you have any bag?
Thank you for taking part. Back to you, Faraha.
Great, thanks guys. No, it's been really good to see how many of you actually know Millside. So I'm hopefully you've actually learned something about Millside you didn't know before. So yeah, there's so much to learn about this place every year. So great. Thanks, Colin. So what I thought would be good to do now, because I'm aware that over the years we've had lots of people come and go through Millside and lots of partners who are also new. I thought it would be really good to just give you a whiz through a bit about our story. And so I'll do that now. If you're not muted already, it'd be great if you could mute yourself just so there's no background noise. So I'll just share my screen, if that's okay with you guys. Can you all see that? Yeah. Fabulous. So, a little bit about Millside. So most people may not know, but we are actually run by a Christian charity called Reach Beyond, which Colin is the CEO of. We're an international organisation and we do a lot of work outside of the UK. We work mainly in community development and media projects worldwide, places like Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, Asia Pacific region, which includes things like, as you can see in the photo there, water clinics, medical clinics, and also we've recently, but prior to COVID, we had a project going to Lesbos camp in Greek, working with refugees there. So we do have a lot of different projects such as that, as well as disaster relief. And we also train communities to have their own, to manage their own local radios. So as you can see in this photo, people being trained to know how to use their own radio. But in the UK, in Bradford, Millside, the projects that we run aside from Millside is a radio project. So we work with Bruce here, as you can see him, doing radio production alongside local radio such as Pulse 1, Pulse 2, BBC Radio and Leeds. And we help charities with media training as well. And so, yeah, for example, we recently have done a training with CAP, Christians Against Poverty, on media training. You will see a bit of Bruce later on, so keep an eye on that. So we've been based in our building for over 30 years, 35 years, I think. So although most people think we're a fairly new organisation, we have been here for a long time. And so part of how Millside came to be, we actually had been using mainly the upper floor of the Millside House building, and then we had when King Security, who used to own the building, left, we managed to have the opportunity to buy the building, which we did, and then we had this ground floor space which was completely derelict and was not in use. So we thought about how we could utilise it, we could use the space to make a difference in the city. So we managed to get a project manager called Catherine Parker Littler, which some of you may know, who came up with an idea of actually saying it would make a lot of sense for us to do a lot of the similar work that we do outside of the UK, because where we are based, as most of you will know, there's a lot of need and deprivation in the inner city Bradford. So we did a research project for over, I think it was 10 months, nearly a year, intensive research, interviewing different individuals and families for over an hour each. And I think we interviewed over 100 individuals. And the main point of that was just to be able to identify some of the key felt needs in the community, because what we didn't want to do is to assume the needs that existed. We really wanted to make sure that we were hearing from people who lived and worked in this area, collaborating with even the local council, understanding, some of the needs in terms of even the lack of even speaking to the business owners as well. So some of the needs that came up were homelessness. We knew that there was obviously an existing number of working girls in the area, so prostitution was an issue. And we have a transient community, migrant community in the area, so we were aware of asylum seekers and refugees who also would need support, as well as, you know, other migrant communities, including Eastern European communities as well. So with those, and we also knew there was need with homelessness, unemployment, and all those kind of needs were there. And so we wanted to really be at the forefront of making sure that some of the needs or the services we would run would be a direct response to those needs. So before we launched the project, before we started, we managed to get some funding which helped us to renovate the space. So some of you may not recognize this building now, but this is what the building used to look like. So it went through a long few months of transformation, and then eventually the space was renovated and looked really nice and warm and welcoming. And so we worked with a really good architect and interior designer, and one of our key passion was to make sure that the space was really warm and inviting, and because we knew we would be working with a lot of vulnerable individuals, we wanted them to come to a space that made them feel safe, that made them feel connected with people, and also we really wanted the community to take ownership of the space, which over the years they have. So these are some of the rooms that we have, as most of you will know: the main room, the cafe, which is now used for our refugee cafe project. We never knew, when we initially designed this space, we never actually realized could be used for a cafe in the future, but yeah, it's great that it happened. And then so these are some of the space. So the counselling room, over the years, we've managed to work with organisations like Solace to provide counselling for refugees and asylum seekers, particularly around trauma counselling. But we are really keen for this space to be used more. We know that there's a massive, especially with COVID, there's been a lot of need with mental health support, individuals struggling with their mental health. So we're really keen to collaborate with lots of organisations who can help provide that support, especially with a lot of people on waiting lists. So our mission statement is, whether we are in the centre or outside in the community, we want to create an environment of trust, peace, safety and acceptance. Our aim is to provide helpful services and activities which build people up and offer comfort and hope, so that lives are transformed, enabling people to reach their full potential. Just to quickly highlight some of the key things that we have continued over the years is, we've never really wanted to be a space where we just we wait for people to access Millside. We've always said that we would always go before and go outside of our comfort zone and meet people. So outreach has been a key part of what we do. Because without that, we know we're not going to really come into contact with people that really need support. And oftentimes we found that people are often struggling alone in their homes without actually being able to realise that there's actually services right on their doorsteps. And so we were a really small team. So here's our staff. So there's myself as the centre manager, Flavia is our admin assistant, and Steph is our youth engagement officer. You'll get to hear from both of them soon as well. And so some of the projects we've done over the years have included things like family support, drop-ins. We've also done cook and eat sessions, as you can see here. We worked with an organisation called Hidden Voices, who sadly lost the funding and are no longer existing. Obviously the Red Cross drop-in was really busy and popular. We had a couple of ESOL classes, as well as a feeding the homeless on Sundays. So a lot of these particular projects that we started with, what helped us having a good connection with the community during the research project, we were able to connect with these organisations who were in need of a space locally in the city centre of Bradford to be able to offer these services. So we knew that one of our key things would be to work in partnership with these organisations. And we didn't want to replicate some of the projects that were happening near us, and really passionate until this date to understand what other people are doing and know how we can support them, affirm them really well, and then also speak to them about how we can collaborate and provide services that also complement what they're doing. So as you head through even some of the quiz, so these are kind of just a whiz through some of the projects we've done. Our job club has continued to run over the years in partnership with In Communities, and In Communities is quite a key partner with us because we know that they are one of the biggest housing providers in Bradford, and so they have access to a lot of different homes and families and individuals that would benefit from our services. So we've always had a really good working relationship with them, and so the Job Club was one of the projects that we started with them, and now Maksud, who runs that, has been doing an amazing job even throughout lockdown to meet the needs of people who are out of work, who are furloughed, who are looking for more opportunities for better work. Over the past year, we've been able to help nearly over 10 of our clients find work, which is amazing despite the challenges. So yeah, we're really grateful for that. But with COVID came a lot of challenges. We had to close the centre for nearly 7 months, and some of our staff were furloughed. But when we did reopen in September, we were really keen to start providing emergency support. So we knew that people, particularly some of our clients, were struggling with food provision. So we reached out to in churches. Julie's here as well, who's an amazing partner, and we started delivering hot meals. So the refugee cafe that we started last year, which sadly we had to close, they were really keen, the students were really keen to carry on learning, and we thought it would be such a great project to give back as well. So In churches provided the food, and we would pack those into food parcels, and then the cafe would cook the 2-course hot meal, which City Valley Church volunteers would then deliver. So we've been really grateful to have that as a consistent project since October. And another thing that we're really proud of over the past year has been just training our students into catering during the pandemic, and so we managed to train 8 of them to complete their level 2 food hygiene safety as well, which is an amazing project. As I mentioned, the Job Club continued. We also launched a youth project, so Steph will talk a little bit more about that shortly. And our, as Colin mentioned, our singing group Millside Voices has now moved online, so we are providing that support for a local care home. And unfortunately, Zoe from the care home couldn't join us today, but you'll find out a little bit more about that. So that's everything from me. I'll just stop sharing. Hope you're still following okay. So I thought it'd be good, now that you've got a bit of a context of kind of why we're here and what we're doing, it'd be really good to pass on the baton to some of our partners who really are the heroes of who do the amazing work through Millside. It'd be good to start with Helen. So if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, Helen, and the projects that you're running through Hope Housing.
Thanks, Farara, thanks. It's always nice to have that bigger context of the work you're doing around the world as well, isn't it? So I'm Helen from Hope Housing, and I normally work upstairs, although I'm at home. We came to Millside when we were at a particularly difficult time at Hope Housing. It was just me, without anywhere. We were a homeless charity, but we didn't have anywhere to stay. And so I came to Farara and Colin and said, can you help? And they very kindly said yes and gave me a little desk. But we've kind of grown a bit and now have the top floor, which is fantastic. And we just love housing homeless people. We love it. It's a great thing to do. It's really practical and really meeting the needs of people that don't have a home. So what a better thing to do than give them one. So that's what we love to do. We have about 26 properties, which totals about 40 bed spaces. I do lose track. We're getting them all the time. So if you're a landlord out there, then yeah, we're interested in talking to you. There's lots of homeless people. They need houses. We need more. So yeah, we have about 40 bed spaces all dotted around Bradford. We support our clients. One of the really difficult things during lockdown has been our befriender scheme. So before lockdown, we had quite an active befriender scheme with volunteers visiting our houses and supporting them and working alongside them. We're really hoping that we'll be able to relaunch that as lockdown lifts, and give our clients a really good quality and support rather than our rushed around kind of support. So we do support our clients with lots of things they need and do tailored support for them. Yeah, in COVID we've been working especially hard. We've been working with the local authority, rehousing people out of bed and breakfast and supporting people, particularly destitute clients in bed and breakfast. It's quite a wonderful thing. Normally when you're destitute and you've got no access to benefits, getting help from the local authority can be quite difficult because you're considered not to meet their criteria because you're not able to access any public funds. However, lockdown and COVID changed all that, and we hope forever. So all of a sudden we had people from the local authority ringing us up saying, oh, can you help? Do you know about how to help these people that have got no access to benefits? So in fact, I can see Will smiling a bit there as well. So me and Will and a few others have been around the table with the local authority, helping lots of homeless clients that have been in really difficult situations during the pandemic that have lost maybe cash in hand jobs or car wash jobs or little bits of gardening, and ended up completely without anything. So we've been working hard with those. For those of you that know a bit about politics and stuff, the transition period is going to end for Brexit for our Eastern Europeans at the end of June, but that also coincides with the council's proposed ending of their kind of COVID provisions. So we're quite concerned about how that's going to look like, because at the moment the council are housing, I don't exactly know numbers, but around 100 people a night in bed and breakfast. So have done amazing, and we've tried to do little bits to help that. And over the winter, they've been housing people in an emergency, and then we've had some funding to carry on that emergency provision and to work to rehouse those people. So we've been busy. It's what we love to do. We hope we don't get too busy sometimes, because sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, all of the needs. But it's really special when someone is really hopeless and got nowhere to go, and we can say, okay, it's all right, we've got something for you, how about this? So yeah, we work with people that are destitute and have no access to benefits and people with benefits. Yeah, and we have helped a few people into work, which is exciting, and helped a few people to reduce their drinking, and working with the Millside is just such a great place to work, for them to access a lot of resources on the doorstep. So it's a really good place to be. It's really good for our clients, to be able to go to the job club, to be able to access the Red Cross, and I mean, all those, and the food and English classes and all those kind of different things that's just on our doorsteps. A really good partnership and a really good place for us to be. So yeah.
Thank you, Helen, for that. I think it's amazing, isn't it, the fact that actually the pandemic has, as hard as it has been, it's also been an opportunity for you to be able to support more people. But yeah, so just want to really thank you for all the hard work you're doing. I think that's another thing that we don't do, is actually thank people who are really working hard during this time and going above and beyond to make sure that they offer that support for people who are destitute. So thank you. I did forget to say that we will also have a Q&A at the end. So if you do have any specific questions for any of our speakers, please write them down or put it in the chat, and we'll have a question and answer bit at the end. So yeah, thank you, Helen. So we'll move on to our next speaker, who is Colette. So we've actually worked with Staying Put in the past before. We did a project called Nestle Down Avenue, which was a creative project helping domestic abuse victims, especially women, to find a safe space and use creativity as a way of moving forward and healing. But we recently have started working with Staying Put again, but I thought it'd be really good for Colette to tell us a bit about what she does and the current project they're running here. So over to you, Colette.
Thanks, Farah. Yes, I'm Colette. I think I've met a few of you before or done training for a few of you. So I'm employed as early intervention practitioner for Staying Put. So you'll have heard, hopefully you've heard of our service before, supporting women, men and children experiencing domestic abuse and sexual violence. We are part of the Bradford Survive and Thrive Consortium as well, so alongside the Women's Centre in Calderdale and Family Action as well, supporting young people through therapeutic work from experiencing domestic abuse or sexual violence as well. And yeah, I think part of my role is to deliver training and bring awareness to our services, but also to cover the recovery aspect. So once we've got a great team of our community IDFAs and ISFAs, who are our independent domestic abuse advisors. And what they do is they support the victims right from crisis all the way through to recovery. Then it gets passed on to our team once all the safeguarding's been done. And we help them really find themselves again, just bring them back, find their identity, and help them to dream again and find a bigger purpose, and kind of not stay in that victimization of the abusive relationship, but learn from the impact and what do they want for their future. And that was really hard for us as a recovery team to do virtually. We tried it. It was really hard. People didn't have access to internet. They didn't have access to a device where we could see them. And I reached out to Farah and I just said, look, is there any availability where we can, eventually when they opened in September, it was great for us. We could start a coffee and craft group. And this was really just a safe place for our clients to come to and just be able to speak about anything other than coronavirus. They didn't have to speak about their case. They could just meet other people and know that they're not alone. And it's been great. We've had some weeks we've had very small groups. Some weeks we've had a bigger group, but it was just a great place for them to come to. Hopefully in the future we've been delivering a recovery group, which is a 6-week recovery group. So we look at the impact of, we look at all forms of abuse, so all different types of abuse, but then we look at the impact it's had on them as an individual. We kind of explore the questions of when people say, why didn't you just leave? And we explore the impact it's had on the children and the whole family network. So as an organisation, we try to work as a whole family holistic approach. So we try to help everyone under the consortium. But we really we've done our group virtually for the past year. And it's worked really well, actually, better than we anticipated. But hopefully come May, we'll be able to do that face to face. And we feel that you just get a lot more from seeing someone. Our support work through our community team has been really difficult. We've had a massive increase in referrals, as you can all appreciate. You've seen on the news that domestic abuse and sexual violence has just rocketed, which is unfortunate, but at least we've been able to continue our support through the pandemic. We've had an increase in capacity, so we've had to take on more volunteers. We've had to recruit more staff, which has been great that we can do that and get that additional funding. But we have run our service all the way through. The only downside is we've not been able to do face-to-face, but we've just had to become creative, whether that's doing Zoom calls, whether it's doing WhatsApp calls, just to be able to engage our clients as well. And hopefully in the pipeline, we're going to be doing a self-empowerment course, again at Millside, which is great. So we're just adding to our recovery work that we're doing. And Millside's been a fantastic place for us to do that. It's a really safe place for people. We always get the best feedback. That even just the environment is so warming, the staff are so warming, and it's a great central place for all of our clients to get to as well, which has been fantastic. But yeah, if any of you ever wanted, like I said, a bit of a plug, but if you wanted that training for your teams, for anyone around domestic abuse, whether that's looking at different forms of abuse, whether that's just what we offer as a service. If you're not aware of what we do, please, I can pass my email on. That's something we can do for your teams. If it's a virtual meeting, even if it's just an hour in a team meeting, we can get our services out there. So for any of you that come across clients that are in need of support, please don't feel like you have to take on all that. We're there to support you and to support your clients as well through that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Colette. Yeah, no, I would definitely recommend you attending or trying to book the training. It's very eye-opening. I thought when I first attended the training, I thought I kind of knew a lot about domestic abuse, but it really goes deep into understanding why people end up in that cycle sometimes, and what you can do if you come across somebody who may be going through that. And sometimes actually we don't need to be necessarily working in the community field to know that we can do something. So it's really important for us to have the right knowledge as well, and know how we can step in. Great, thank you, Colette, and thank you for the work you're doing here.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to Steph. So I mentioned before, so some of the services we run is run by ourselves, by Millside, alongside partners, but we do run some of our own projects ourselves. So last year during COVID, or before COVID, we had received some funding to start a youth project, but we had to keep postponing it because of the restrictions. But halfway around, kind of May, June, we realised that there is a huge need, and we realised how much young people are really being affected by the pandemic as well. And so we thought we can't delay this any longer, and just managed to recruit a youth worker. So Steph has been working with some of the young people over the past few months. So I thought it'd be really good for her to share a bit about what she's doing here. Over to you, Steph.
Oh, yes. So we have a very little youth group which meet every Thursday at 5, and it's great. It's basically a safe space where we do all sorts of things, baking, doing activities, art stuff, getting in speakers, getting in lots of different things for them to kind of experience things they may not experience elsewhere, but also mainly just have a bit of fun and to kind of forget troubles at home, because the majority of our young people, their families are asylum seekers, or asylum seeking families, so there's a lot, they kind of almost have to step up a bit more at home, and have a lot of worries in that sense, especially because a lot of them are the kind of older age of youth, so they're 14 to 19. Actually, we've got a couple of older ones as well, but they're kind of at the age where they're looking after their siblings quite a lot, they're helping out their parents quite a lot, so that I think they feel a lot of the pressure. And alongside that, we've realized, especially in the last couple of weeks when we've got to see them face to face, and talking about kind of Easter holidays and things like that, that there's a lot of in a sense them feeling like they can't be the same as their friends because of their situation, and feeling quite isolated. So it's really brought to light how important this group has been for a lot of them, just because it is that safe space where they can be themselves, have a bit of fun, and they have the right to have that and to be that, and in a sense just to enjoy it and not have any pressure of anything. So really that is what it is. We kind of started out with the idea of it being a voice and giving them a voice and having more of a kind of a outward working of it. But what we've realized as the process has gone on, that actually what we really need is just a safe space to have a bit of fun. And although they're on the older scale of youth turning into adults sort of side, they just want to have fun. And maybe some of them not actually been allowed to have a lot of fun as they've grown up in these kind of situations. So yeah, it's great. Just giving them a bit of we did an Easter egg hunt and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And it was just great. So we've got, not sure, I would probably say we're heading on to about almost 10, hopefully, that are coming to be regular, which is really good, because even it's been a struggle, as for her and a couple others know. Engaging during the pandemic has been really tough. So we've had some people that have been every week so committed, but it's been a very intimate group for a very long time. So it's just been a couple of people, but then again, very, very beneficial in that way. We've come along alongside some of these young people that obviously need that as well. So yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been quite challenging in that way, because not being able to do certain things because we haven't got the numbers, or kind of having to change focus. There's definitely been challenges having to do it on Zoom, but we're in person now, and it's good fun. There's been a bit of worry about with safety and things like that, because a lot of them have got family members which aren't very well. But actually, when they end up coming, they're like, oh, I'm really glad I came. This has been great. And stepping outside of their comfort zones and kind of overcoming the kind of anxieties and pressures that society puts on them. So yeah, I hope that's kind of giving you an overview.
That's great. Thanks, Steph. Yeah, really great. Oh, can you hear me? Yeah, that's great. I'm back. Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure getting to know the youth over the past few months. And so, yeah, if any of you are aware of any young people who are needing a safe space, yeah, please do get in touch with us. All the information about what's been going on at Millside should be on our website. So if you just want to reach out to us, we can always signpost you to the right people. So that's great. I thought, it'll be good to end. If we had time, we would have gone around everybody and made sure we all spoke, but we could be here forever. But our last speaker today will be Wahid. So I thought it'd be really good to do a plug on this project, because it's been one of kind of the highlights of our year last year. So I mentioned the Welcome Cafe, which is run by refugees. We didn't even know that we had capacity to do that, but when I met Wahid the year before, we realised that actually maybe there is a possibility here, and unemployment is such a huge thing among refugee communities. So yeah, I'll pass it over to you, Wahid, if you want to share a little bit about how the project came to be.
No problem. Hi, my name is Wahid Rashid. I'm the Refugee Engagement Coordinator for Bradford Council. I've been in post since October 2019, and my primary role is to help refugees to get into employment and training. So it's been a really lovely journey so far, and obviously then we had the lockdown, which my role slightly changed, and I went into emergency response team to support refugees and family seekers around food parcels, around making sure everyone's provided with the necessary stuff they need for day-to-day use. But my primary role, as I said, was to help support refugees. There's only one of me, so it was very important for me when I started to work in partnership with many different organizations that are doing already some brilliant work out there. And I didn't want to repeat and sort of step on anyone's toes and do projects that are already existing. I wanted to develop new ideas and work with partners, which I set up a number of different programs across the district. I've been asked to talk about how the Refugee Cafe came about. So it was when I went to introduce myself to Puraha and Millside, and look at what they're doing and what brilliant work they're doing already existing with refugees, and how I can help. And it was a moment of in spiritual moment, I would say, of enlightenment, since we were in a spiritual building. I saw the cafeteria, because for me it was one of the things that I had when I came into role, because of my business credentials and my networking experience. Was I want to do stuff that will give real experience and develop programs that will continue to run even when I'm not around, and also allow there be an outcome. Because one of the things that when I did my research on what the needs were, it was very clear that a lot of refugees were getting knocked back from interviews that were not having any relevant UK experience when they were applying for jobs. So when I went to Millside Centre and I saw this space, and I asked for what is it actually being used for, because it was a full commercial kitchen and knowledge of restaurants and businesses in the restaurant business trade my family's been in. I thought, well, this is a perfect location and a perfect sort of it's all set up, commercial set up. And so we're not using it much at the moment. So I said, I've got a brilliant idea, which, if you are willing to run with it, I'm sure I could secure some funding and apply for something and get it off the ground. At the same time, obviously, I was speaking to Bradford College, Duncan, who's been a key part in supporting this cafe and without the key partners. And one of the things that this sort of project shows you, how partnership working can make something very quickly successful. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible without Bradford College and without Duncan's support and providing tutors and Millside offering the building. So we sat down, we set a meeting up with, I think it was 2nd of December, we set a meeting with Colleen and myself and Duncan and Faraha. We discussed ideas and obviously developed a program from there. It was a program, and as Colin said, he thought I was mad when I mentioned the program and how quick I wanted to get it going. But we launched it in February. We decided to go ahead with it, secured some funding for it, and we designed posters and everything and got the market out. We had a good uptake for the program, and we launched it in, I think it was February 2020 or January 2020. Can't remember the date. And it took off really well. It was a full-on program. It was a full-on business basically, where the refugee clients and all the students were basically allowed to learn how to run a business. So the college was providing the material of customer service skills, business skills, marketing, stock control, everything. They were learning everything about running a business. And the main thing was they're going to get level 2 qualification at the end of the program, which would give them basic requirement you need to work in any hospitality area. You need level 2 food hygiene, and this is what 8 of our students were successful in achieving. And the program was a very, we had businesses and we had other organizations that wanted to come and use our catering facilities. We did a number of events at the Millside Centre. Again, the students got that experience on how to serve food, how to present food, how to set up tables, and it was brilliant. Unfortunately, we had the first lockdown, and things stopped. But then and we were being more creative. We concentrated on the study side. The students came in and continued doing some work and did the study side. And then Faraha, obviously at the Millside Centre, decided that the skills could be used to supply hot food meals for the more vulnerable, and the students were more than happy to do that. We had I think it was in January, we had our celebration event for the CAFE first year students graduated, and it was an achievement that many organizations across the country and across Europe have been interested in the project, because it was the first of its kind. And the project can be used for different areas. It doesn't have to be used for cafeterias, it can be used for other businesses, and it's an opportunity to give hands-on experience and qualification at the same time. I've set up a number of different programs around sewing academies, digital employability courses with Bradford College, and again, for me, a key message would be that partnership working was a key factor in this. And without the buy-in from Millside Centre, without the buy-in from Bradford College and support from Bradford College, and in particular from Duncan, this would not have been possible. If more organisations like Millside Centre would work with partners, it would be fantastic. And I'm sure they do. But this was a clear example how we brought something such a significant program together in such a short time. And it was only possible because of the partners coming together and playing their part in doing that. And the outcome is hopefully there'll be a continuous program, and when lockdown is over, we can continue with the cafe, and more students could come and benefit from this program, and it'll be self-sufficient hopefully once it brings the income in. Yeah. So I've done a number of things. Like I said, I mentioned this was one of the programs. I've set up a number of the programs across the district, Bradford and Keighley, to help people, refugees, to get in from become inactive to active, to get into training, to support. I've set up advice drop-in sessions. Set up employment sessions with Bradford College, and a number of different courses for different groups. And some of the challenges I mentioned for small clients, especially now in the lockdown, is the not being able to meet them face to face, not being able to have that discussion, because sometimes it's very difficult to have a discussion with clients, especially when there's a language barrier, and you're trying to do it over WhatsApp, trying to explain. Today morning was another example of how students were trying to contact and try to have conversations and come to the centre to start the digital employability course. So it's very difficult. It was my first day of being out, and I was out at the IT center today morning. It was really good. I felt really good that I'm back out. I'm hoping I'll stay out now and be more active. So it's been a good journey. Even during the COVID, we've done some brilliant work, and obviously the partners have done some amazing work across the district. Big shout out to Millside for buying the idea of the refugee cafe and running with it.
That's,
And,
yeah, thank you so much, Wahid. It's been such a pleasure working with you, and we are excited that the cafe will soon reopen again. So I'm sure some of you that have been especially missing the food will be so glad to hear that. So we're hoping to recruit more students, and then working with Nabila and Duncan and the team and Wahid to start that project again. So if any of you know any asylum seekers and refugees who want to learn catering skills, please let us know. We'll put all the details, we'll probably email you all the information about that in the next month or so. Great, so thank you. That concludes our partners bit. Okay.
So hello everyone. I'm very happy today to be with you guys, and it's great time, and I had a lot of information today about Millside. So, and thank you guys for your wonderful job. Thank you all to all the volunteers, the staff. Thank you to everyone. So today I'm here to share my story with you. I'm one of the people who are benefit from Millside project, the cafe, and I like to do catering, and I really enjoy that job. So when I got the information to join Millside, so I got in touch with Farah, and she accepted me, and she invited me to start with her with Millside. It was really good. It was really good to. How can I say? We learned a lot of things as skills. We learned tutorial like food hygiene, health and safety. And the other side, we learned how to practice our our job as catering. We learned about services. We had learned lots of things, and I'm glad I joined that group. And so I'm going to start my little business. Inshallah, when everything will be all right. Like Mr. Wahid said, we will have a lot of support from him and from the council. And if we need anything, any help, we can just go to him. And this course for me, it gave me a lot of confidence, and that I can do it, because as migrant, first time you came here, everything looks different. You don't know lots of things about the laws, how things go in, how from where you're going to start. But when we were there, so we got a lot of help. Things make clear for us now, and hopefully we can start. And we are personally, I'm always happy to come and maybe to help other groups who will be coming next us. We would like to share our experience with them, and we would like to push them to do it. And it's not something hard, and and I will say to them, you can do it, just start it. And the funny things with that group is we were eight people, and each one has something he likes it more. So some of us likes cooking, some of us like service, some of us like washing dishes, and I can see Faraha smiling now. And yeah, that's it, I think.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, no, I totally think, yeah, I absolutely. One of the things I enjoyed about what you shared is also the sense of family that was in that group, and how you all bonded with one another. And especially with lockdown, it was such a great way of keeping you all going and, you know, building that sense of connection, which is so needed. So thank you for sharing that, Nadia. Great. So I'm just going to pass over to Ruth now, who's going to be leading just a short session on hope, and over to you.
Thank you, Faraha. It's been great to be with everybody this morning. I'm Ruth Harrison, and I work more on the international side of things with Reach Beyond, so kind of upstairs in the building, as it were, alongside my husband. So this part this morning, we've called it Stories of Hope, and we've heard some stories of hope already, and we're going to give you opportunity in a moment to share more. We hear the word hope a lot these days. I've heard it mentioned quite a bit this morning in what people have been talking about. One of the partners is called Hope Housing. We're all hoping for the restrictions of lockdown to be eased. We have hopes for the future. And as we were thinking about this morning, thinking of what Millside does, I think we can say that we can be people of hope. I think the service that we offer through Millside, the partners, do bring hope. I had forgotten it was in the mission statement of Millside this morning, as part of that, to bring comfort and hope. So we thought, as part of our celebrations today, we would share our own stories of hope, whether that's a story that you've seen from an individual, maybe a family you've worked with, maybe bringing hope to part of the community, or even citywide in Bradford. So in just a moment, we are going to go into small groups, breakout groups, and you'll have a chance, just maybe for a couple of minutes, to tell a story that illustrates that hope. That bit won't be recorded. Perhaps don't share names to just protect confidentiality, but something that might encourage others in your group and to remind us why we do this work. We said before that we do need to say thanks to those that work hard. There's a sense in which as we celebrate today and we share these stories, we're saying thank you and wanting each other to kind of keep going. So just be thinking of a story that you can share in just a minute. But let's just think, what does it mean for us to be those people of hope? As I said before, we're hoping that restrictions will lift. Maybe you're hoping to go to the shop today, or the pub. Maybe you're hoping for the hairdresser to open soon. Maybe you were a midnight haircut last night. I saw some people were doing that. Maybe you're just hoping a change for the better very soon. We've seen this morning, listening about the work that's done through Millside, that hope's very important for people whose hope perhaps has been dashed, people's hope that's been destroyed, those people that need others to come around them and to help restore that hope, maybe to have that sense of hope once again regained. Perhaps it's been lost because of trauma or discouragement or disappointment, maybe just being bewildered by life. Hope is giving people that strength that they need for the future, isn't it? Hope can be a small spark. Sometimes that's all it takes, isn't it? Maybe that's what your story will be. Just a small spark that's reignited hope for people, causing others to regain their hope that they lost. We heard the word used this morning, hopelessness. What a difficult, dark place that is for any of us that have been in a hopeless place, but daring to hope and move forward in life again. Hope shared, hope restored. It's wonderful to see, and that's what we want to celebrate. And I think we can enjoy giving and receiving hope in community as we work together. So hope can be a spark, but it can also be a seed, can't it? Just something really small, like a seed that would grow into a large plant. I think Fraha used that phrase just now. And I saw a poster recently that said, "Sow seeds of hope wherever you are." So let's reflect on being that community of hope through Millside with those that we work with. Let's look forward with hope. There's definitely plenty to look forward to. And let's now enjoy telling some stories of hope to each other, whether they're small or large, that small spark or that little seed. So we're going to get into these groups, maybe just share for a couple of minutes so that other people get a chance to share as well. It can be just an individual, a family, a community, or something across the city. Just a story of hope to encourage each other so that we can keep going in this important work.
That's great, thank you. So we'll be in rooms of threes, if that's okay. So I'll just create the room now. So, and I think what we'll do, we'll make it 10 minutes. Okay, there we go. Fab. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else to finish, Ruth?
That's it.
That's it. Thank you. And we also just had not a stranger, but somebody that we know really well, Catherine, who was our old project manager, join us all the way from Plymouth. Do you want to say hello, Catherine?
Hi, everybody. I can't see anybody. I can just see Faraha. I'm not quite sure how to get everybody up on the screen. Let me see, share. All right. Sorry about that. I was trying to see. Oh, participants. That's the one, isn't it?
There we go. Yeah, Catherine, do you want to just say a little bit about what you used to do here and then briefly before we finish? And what
no, it's all right, Faraha. You're doing a great job. Hi, Colin.
Hi there, Catherine. Great to see you. Yeah, without Catherine, there would be no Millside Centre. I can honestly say that. So we really appreciate everything you did for us, Catherine.
Yeah, no,
that's a bit grand.
No, not at all.
Oh, thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, so I think that pretty much concludes everything for today. Just wanted to briefly share, I know some of you might be wanting to know what other projects are coming up at Millside. So we have, we're hoping that the Welcome Cafe, as I mentioned before, will start soon. So if you guys are aware of anybody who wants to do a catering course through Millside, please let us know. We are also currently speaking or trying to start another ESOL class, just because there's been a huge demand and need for that, particularly pre-entry level. So we were working with a Carman Community Centre to see if we can set up another ESOL class. We're really keen to we have a waiting list of people who are already really desperately needing to learn English to build their confidence. So that particularly might start around end of this month, but we also a lot of our services might kind of come slowly. We might have less engagement during this month because Ramadan's starting, so there's a lot that we learn during this time about kind of how to engage our clients when they're fasting. So yeah, it's really important for us to understand those important religious seasons as well. We have applied for some funding through CNET to see if we can do a befriending scheme. As I mentioned before, with people being at home isolated, it's been really difficult to re-engage people, but what we have found is that actually having somebody just call them, having somebody to talk to once a week can make a huge difference to someone who's just stuck at home. So hopefully if we do get that funding, we're hoping to re-engage some of our old volunteers, particularly those who were used to run our English classes, so they will have something to do and will be connected with a service user who is particularly in need. And we're hoping to also make sure that we find those barriers where people can't speak English, where we can try and train up volunteers who can speak their mother tongue or their heart language, as we call it. Another thing that we're hoping to do, we're in conversation with Ministry of Others, which is an organisation that we've partnered with before, we're hoping to do a creative project around mental health. So again, there's just a lot of projects in the pipeline like that, which we're hoping will come off. But also, finally, this week we're starting a project, a photography project, with asylum seekers and refugees. It's a shame Shai is a local photographer, isn't able to be with us today, but she's we will give you all the details about that once it comes to an end. It's only a 3-month project and going up to mid-June, and they're hoping to have they'll be training asylum seekers and refugees into basic photography skills, and they'll be using their mobile phones, and hopefully by the end of it they'll learn how to tell their stories through photography. And we'll also have an exhibition during Refugee Week, so yeah, so please look out for that. And when those information about the exhibition comes, again, we'll send all the information across to you as well. I think that concludes everything from me. If there's ever anything coming up, we'll always try our best to communicate that with you, so expect an email from myself or Flavia. And lastly, by the way, was there anyone that had a question? Because we said we would have a Q&A before we finish. A question for either Colette, Helen, or Steph. No? That's fine. If you do have any questions about how you can refer clients to these individuals, in particular, and organisations, feel free to go through myself or Flavia, but as I said, all the information should be on the website apart from Colette's details, so feel free to contact me and we can pass those information to you. Before we end, I thought it'd be really good to get Bruce. Bruce is our he's our what do we call it, resident poet, so he's written a poem about Millside, so we thought it would be good to end with that poem, and then we'll finish. So thank you guys for sticking along with us all this time. Over to you, Bruce.
Thanks, Farah, and nice to see everyone, including a few familiar faces. And this is just a few thoughts in response to what I know of the Millside, and I'm just upstairs, so I pop down quite a lot. Oh, what a journey! Just 4 years ago, a fresh new thing came into being. Birth of the Millside Centre, brilliant. And so, since then, some great things we've been seeing. A wonderful painting hangs here on the wall. It's vibrant and colourful and bright, reflecting the Millside Centre's mission to all, to bring assistance and love, life and light. For this part of Bradford has wonderful people, but many are vulnerable in need. We're not a mosque or a church with a tall striking steeple, but we want to bring help, plant a seed. We help folk find work which has purpose and meaning, and young people here can connect. Those who felt bad might soon find themselves dreaming of better. Joy and hope intersect. There are wonderful activities, so find out your thing, practice English or sew, even knit. Some service users like most of all to sing, while some most enjoy getting fit. Seeds of practical help are what we choose to sow, and a smile for all those that we meet. Food or a kind word to someone who's low, helping them to get back on their feet. That's a sketch of what's here, ever since we went live, helping vulnerable people to cope, and not just get by, but to grow and to thrive, and so find new courage and hope. Thank you.
Wow. Brilliant.
You, Bruce. Thank you for sharing that.
That's brilliant.
Well, on that note, we'll say goodbye. Thank you guys so much before we say goodbye, we just wanted to thank you for all the amazing work that you are doing. Some of you may think you're not doing a lot and you're just working behind the scenes, or you think what you're doing is insignificant. We honestly really do appreciate it. As we said, the work that you're doing is having a huge impact, not just through Millside, but the wider our wider community and our city at large. So thank you. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to working alongside you for the next coming years in the future. So thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thanks, Bye. Bye now.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Have some virtual cake.
Nice to see you, Catherine.
Virtual cake is certainly not the same as the real thing, Colin.
Sorry.
You might get some real cake soon, though, Helen.
Come on, Nabila. Come and make us some cake.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. Bye.